A few months ago, I received a strange email. It was from my old friend, Ethan. The subject line read, "If I disappear, please tell them what I saw." Ethan lived in Hokkaido, Japan, a cold, snow-covered place where even the air seemed to carry the scent of ancient stories. He wrote that something had happened to him and his friend Lucas in the forest, something that couldn't be explained. Ethan and Lucas were travel vloggers. Their plan was to visit Nibutani village, a small Ainu settlement where people still believe in spirits. The Ainu culture is older than most Japanese civilizations. They believe that every element of nature has a spirit, a kami. The wind, the water, the trees, the animals, everything is alive, everything is watching. Ethan wrote that from the moment they arrived at the village, the atmosphere felt strange. The villagers were silent, as if they wanted to say something but couldn't. No one looked them directly in the eyes. Except for one old man, his face lined with deep wrinkles, like time itself had written on his skin. The old man looked at Ethan and said, "You come from the city, but the forests here are not like your city forests." Lucas asked, "What do you mean?" The old man spoke softly. "There's a spirit here, Ke-Saru. The Ainu say it's the guardian of these woods. It doesn't chase, it watches. If someone enters the forest with arrogance, makes noise, or disrespects the air itself, it takes their face. And when it takes a man's face, he stays alive, but becomes someone else inside." Ethan laughed and said, "Old stories, right?" The old man stayed quiet, then handed them a small wooden totem and said, "When the forest goes silent, when the wind stops, say Kami Sepasai. It's a prayer to send the spirit back home." Ethan and Lucas took the totem, laughing as they left. They had no idea those words would soon become their only hope. Inside the forest, the first day was peaceful. The snow shimmered on the ground, and Ethan's camera captured every falling flake. Lucas was flying the drone, Ethan was taking photos. They were so lost in their excitement, they didn't notice that the wind was slowly dying. Ethan wrote, "At first I thought my mic battery was dying. Every sound felt muffled. But a few seconds later I realized the wind had stopped. No birds, no water flow. It was as if the entire forest had forgotten how to breathe." Lucas whispered, "Ethan, this isn't normal." Ethan looked at him. There was something searching in Lucas's eyes. "Lucas, turn off the camera. Something doesn't feel right." Then Ethan wrote, "I felt something behind me. Like someone was standing right there, but not touching me. The feeling was so real that I couldn't even move." Lucas lifted the camera and said, "There's something there." Ethan looked. Between two trees stood a black shadow. Tall, thin, perfectly still. It had no face, just a shape. It didn't move, but the darkness around it grew deeper. Ethan wrote, "It was watching us, I'm sure of it. It didn't have eyes, but it could see. It was looking straight inside us." Lucas zoomed in with the camera. The screen flickered with static. When the picture cleared, the shadow was closer. Lucas shouted, "It's moving." Ethan looked again, but he never saw it move. It was just, every time he blinked it was nearer. Ethan wrote, "I wanted to scream, but my throat locked. I couldn't breathe. Then I remembered the old man's words, Kami Sepasai. I whispered it just once. And at that very moment, the wind began to blow again. The leaves started to rustle. And when they looked back, the shadow was gone." Lucas said, "We're leaving now." Ethan nodded. Both walked silently back toward the village. But Ethan wrote, "The farther we walked, the colder the air became. Behind us, we heard footsteps crunching in the snow. But there were only two of us, yet there were 3 sets of footprints." Lucas said, "Don't look back." Ethan wrote, "I didn't want to, but curiosity forced me." I took one glance, and that's when I realized we weren't alone. The same shadow was there, but it wasn't standing still anymore. It was bending forward, like it was learning to walk, like it was learning how to be human. Ethan and Lucas ran until they reached the village. Lucas's hands were shaking, Ethan's camera still recording. The villagers went silent as they entered. Ethan rushed to the old man's house and said, "We saw something in the forest." The old man only said, "It has seen you. It will not forget you now." Ethan wrote that he and Lucas slept in the same room that night. Neither of them could sleep. From outside, the window came the sound of dragging footsteps in the snow. Ethan said, "It's probably just the wind." But Lucas looked into his eyes and whispered, "That wasn't the wind, it was walking." Ethan wrote, "I couldn't move from fear." When morning came, we saw 3 sets of footprints outside the window, not 2. And the third set led straight to the window. After that, Ethan's words in the email began to fade, as if his hands were trembling. The last line read, "Lucas doesn't speak anymore. He says it's calling him back. I don't understand, was it real, or are we now a part of it?" The email ended there, and below it was written one single phrase, "Kamai sepasai." After that, no one heard from Ethan again. His phone was dead, no updates anywhere. But on his social media, a new video was uploaded without a title. The video showed the forest, and in the distance, 2 figures walking in the snow. One was Ethan, the other Lucas. But behind them, there was a third shadow. And the video ended with Ethan's voice. "You said it only watches and lets go." Maybe this time, it didn't want to. Months had passed since I read Ethan's email. I had replied to him many times, but there was never an answer. Then one day, a new message appeared in my inbox. The sender's name was Lucas K. The subject line read, "It followed him." I opened the email. Inside, there was only one sentence. "Ethan called me back to the forest that night, and now I'm not alone." Beneath that line was a video link. I clicked it. The video began shakily, darkness, snow, and a faint flashlight in the distance. The camera was trembling, not from the wind, but from someone's shaking hand. Then came Ethan's voice, weak, cold. "Lucas, I think it's still here." The video froze. The screen turned black. And then text appeared. "Nibutani Forest, 2 days ago." In Lucas's own recording, he explained that Ethan had suddenly shown up at his door one night. His face was pale as snow, his eyes lifeless. Lucas asked, "Ethan, are you okay?" Ethan quietly replied, "It didn't leave me, Lucas. It came inside me." Lucas thought maybe Ethan was just stressed. But there was something in his tone that didn't sound human. Every few minutes, Ethan kept staring toward the forest, as if listening to a whisper. Sweat ran down the back of his neck, not from heat, but even colder than the frozen ground. Lucas said, "Let's go back once more, see what's really there." Ethan just smiled, a smile that stayed only on his lips, not in his eyes. When they climbed back up the trail toward the Hidaka Mountains, the weather had changed. Old footprints were half buried in snow, including a third set, leading straight ahead of them. A voice note from Lucas's phone said, "Ethan's silent. I keep asking him things, but he doesn't answer." Even his breathing sounds different, like 2 people breathing inside one body. By evening, they reached the spot where they had first seen the shadow. The trees were heavy with snow, and again, the wind stopped. Lucas said, "It's the same feeling." Ethan whispered, "It's here." Lucas turned on his flashlight. In the beam of light, a shadow appeared. But it didn't move against the light. Instead, the light itself bent away from it. Lucas shouted, "Run!" but Ethan grabbed his arm. "Don't run. If you do, it'll come inside you." Lucas wrote later that he saw Ethan's face change in that moment. His eyes lost all reflection. Only a black emptiness remained. Lucas tried to run, but Ethan collapsed to the ground. From his throat came a sound, like two voices speaking together. "Kamai Sepasai, you said that, didn't you? Now let's see who gets to go home." Lucas ran in pure terror, clutching the camera. In the footage, only the flickering light over the snow is visible, and a long shadow walking right behind him. Then the camera cut off. After that, Lucas wrote, "I made it out, but Ethan stayed behind. I think he's part of Ke-Saru now." I thought all of this was madness until the next day. A new clip appeared on the same channel, where Ethan used to upload his travel videos. The title read, "I'm home." The video opened on Ethan's face, but now his skin was marked, as if peeling away. He smiled and said, "Lucas promised he'd come back. And you all know, promises aren't meant to be broken." The screen went black. Only Ethan's eyes remained. Two dark circles in the snow, blinking slowly. Lucas's last message read, "I'm going home, but I don't think I'm alone." After that, his location signal came from deep within Hokkaido, the same area where the Ainu people still pray for protection from Ke-Saru. Now, whenever I watch that video, I always notice one small detail. There are 3 sets of footprints in the snow, 2 human and a third one, that leads straight toward the camera. And every time, it feels like the angle of that footprint changes, as if something inside the screen is watching me back. After Lucas's message, I didn't stop trying to contact him. Every day I searched his name once, checked videos, but nothing new ever appeared. Then one night, another email arrived in my inbox. The sender's name was blank, but the subject line said, "He has built his home." Inside the email, there was only one attachment, a photo. A snow-covered forest, and in the middle, a small Ainu shrine where a wooden totem was facing straight toward the camera. Beneath the totem, something was carved. "Kamai Sepasai." At that moment, my hands started shaking. I zoomed into the photo. Behind in the snow, there were 2 shadows. One looked like Lucas and the other like Ethan. But there was a third shadow between them, tall, thin, and moving as if it were alive. 2 days later, I got a call from an unknown number in Japan. When I picked up, there was strange silence, then a voice. "You're Ethan's friend, right?" I said, "Yes, who's speaking?" The voice was tired. "I'm a local police officer from Nibutani. You should know something is happening here." He told me that 3 people had gone missing from the village in the past few weeks. Before disappearing, each of them had said the same thing. "The forest has seen me." The officer said, "No one goes near the forest at night anymore. Faces appear on the trees around their houses, as if someone has pressed a human face into the wood." I asked Ethan and Lucas. He paused for a moment, then said, "No one speaks their names anymore. People say that after they came, the forest came alive." Some footage had gone viral in the village. CCTV cameras showed people walking out of their homes at night, heading into the forest silently, without stopping. Their faces had no expression. In the morning, their footprints remained in the snow, but they never returned. In another clip, a woman appeared, her camera recording. She screamed, "What is that?" The camera fell, and in the last frame near a tree stood a man. He looked like Ethan, but his face was upside down. I decided I had to go there. I took a flight to Hokkaido and reached Nibutani village. As soon as I arrived, I felt a strange heaviness in the air. No normal sounds, only the silent fall of snow. People looked frightened as soon as they saw me. A woman grabbed her child's hand and said, "You're from the city, aren't you? You don't know who's watching here." I went straight to the old man's house, the same one who had given Ethan the totem. Half the house was in darkness. The old man sat near the window, holding that same small totem in his hand. I asked, "Where are Ethan and Lucas?" He kept his eyes closed for a while, then said, "Ke-Saru no longer belongs only to the forest. Now it has made a place inside humans too." I asked, "What do you mean?" He spoke softly. "When someone sees it, it doesn't take their face, it takes their form. Then it lives in that form until a new person enters the forest." He handed me the totem and said, "If you ever feel the air stop or the forest go silent, don't run. Just close your eyes and say, 'Kamai sepasai.' Maybe it won't recognize you." That night, I stayed near the edge of the village. At 1 a.m., the wind completely stopped. I noticed the snow had frozen midair and the trees had stopped moving. I felt something like a hand resting on the back of my neck. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Kamai sepasai." For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then faint footsteps in the snow, as if someone barefoot was walking slowly. I opened my eyes. Far away near a tree, a man was standing. I saw his face reflected in my camera. It was Ethan, but his eyes were completely black, and faint frost was falling from the corners of his lips, as if his insides had turned into ice. He raised his hand and slowly said, "You're late. Now it has seen you too." I couldn't understand what to do. The more I stepped back, the more his face began to change, like layers of ice sticking to him. With each blink, his shape kept shifting. Within seconds, he didn't look human anymore. Then he said something strange. "The forest isn't just watching anymore. Now it's listening too." And then my phone's camera turned on by itself. On the screen, I saw myself, but behind me, someone else was standing. A shadow, just like in Ethan's videos. I turned the phone off, but the reflection was still there in the glass. I thought I was hallucinating, but then that reflection smiled. And I didn't. At that moment, I remembered what the old man had said. If the forest has seen you, it will follow you. I tried to run, but my feet sank into the snow. Something underneath was grabbing my legs, as if the ground itself had come alive. In the distance, Ethan, or whatever he had become, slowly walked away. And beneath the snow, faint breathing continued. When I woke up in the morning, I was lying in front of the shrine. The totem was beside me, but now it had something new written on it. "You have been seen." Since that day, whenever I look into a mirror, I see a small shadow behind me. Sometimes still, sometimes moving. And each time, it feels a little closer. When I woke up near the shrine in the morning, it felt as if someone had written my name inside the snow. The totem was still in my hand, the same one that now read, "You have been seen." I stood up and looked around. There were no footprints in the snow, as if no one had been there all night. I couldn't remember much, only that I had gone into the forest and I saw Ethan's face, or maybe something else wearing his form. My mind still felt heavy, as if something had entered and was breaking my thoughts apart. I returned to the village. People went silent when they saw me. A woman handed me some water, but her eyes trembled when she looked at me. She whispered softly, "You're cold from the inside. Did you come back from the forest alone?" I just nodded. That night when I checked my camera recordings, I saw myself standing near the shrine, speaking something into the snow. But the voice wasn't mine. It was another tone, soft, cold, as if someone was speaking from beneath the ice. At that moment, I began to feel that maybe I had become part of that thing. My face started to look strange in the mirror. My eyes were normal, but sometimes behind my neck, a faint shadow appeared in the reflection, as if someone was standing beside me, not in the camera, but always there. The next day, I went back to the old man. He looked at me and said, "It's inside you now, but not completely. If you accept it, your face will be gone. If you reject it, maybe you'll stay alive." I asked, "What should I do?" The elder said, "You must return its home to it. Go back into the forest and tell it it's free now." I thought, this is madness. But somewhere deep inside, a voice said, "Until you say it, it won't leave." That night, I went back into the forest. The snow and cold were worse than before. With every step, I felt someone walking beside me. Sometimes very close, sometimes behind. I wasn't scared, only strangely calm. As if where I was going was exactly where I was meant to be. In the middle of the forest, I stopped. The wind froze, the leaves went still, and that same silence returned, as if the world had stopped breathing. I closed my eyes and said, "Ke-Saru, you're not mine. This is your home. I was only a guest. Kamai sepasai." For a while, nothing happened. Then the wind started blowing again. Snow touched my face, and I felt a soft hand on my shoulder. There was warmth in that touch, as if someone was saying, "Go now." I opened my eyes. Far between the trees, a shadow stood, but for the first time it didn't scare me. It slowly faded away into the distance, then vanished. From beneath the snow came a faint whisper, as if someone said, "Thank you." After that, I felt alive again. Light but strange. When I returned to the village, the elder said, "You didn't banish it, you freed it. That's why it let you go." I thanked him. Since that day, I never returned to Nibutani. I went back to my country, and everything seemed normal again. I could sleep, and my face looked like mine once more. But one thing still feels strange. Every time I wake up, there's a thin layer of frost on my pillow. I thought maybe it came from the window. But one night I left the camera on, and in the video, I saw myself breathing out snow from inside my chest. That's when I realized Ke-Saru never left. It's only sleeping, and maybe it sleeps inside everyone who hears its name. Because whenever I say Ke-Saru, my reflection smiles, while I don't. Now I'm writing this story, so no one else goes into that forest. I'm alive, yes, but not completely. Somewhere inside, I feel like I've become a vessel of that spirit. Whoever is hearing or watching this story, remember, if the wind suddenly stops, if the silence feels heavier than snow, just close your eyes and say, "Kamai sepasai," and pray that it doesn't recognize you. If this story sent chills down your spine like the video, share it with someone brave enough and subscribe, because the next story goes even darker.